All right, and we are here live here Tuesday night under the lights here on Couch Coach Live. What's going on, Maui?
Hey man, how you doing?
Good, man. Just another week, just grinding, man. What's been going on with you, man?
Oh man, trying to stay up, sleepy, and tired.
Yeah, man.
It's getting close to that time of the year, so they about to go crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It is. Yep. It is that time of the year, almost towards the end of it, and get ready to get into this holiday season. So yeah, we got yeah, it's the grind of this year is about to come to a halt, but still got a few
Mm.
more weeks in this year, and just to try to finish out the year strong. But yeah, man, we got a great show for you lined up today here on Couch Coach Live. Once again, Tuesday night under the lights, which I think may sound a little bit better than Wednesday night under the lights. We'll kind of we'll determine at some point that, and I know it's all really been contingent on as of late the VCU basketball season kind of been kind of as far as doing it on a Wednesday or doing it on a Tuesday. We'll try to balance that out a little bit better as the weeks progress, and obviously now with the holidays coming up, because Wednesdays you think you got Christmas falls on a Wednesday this year, New Year's fall on
Mm.
Wednesday, so just bear with us, and I'll try to do my best as far as getting everybody abreast of what days we'll do the show. So we'll just do that, especially as as this holiday season progress. But yeah,
Hmm.
um, great show for you tonight. The Chiefs suffered their first loss of the season. We'll talk about that.
Hmm.
Cam Newton not feeling the love in Carolina yet again. We talked about a few years ago, kids disrespect them. Now the organization has a level of disrespect. Inside the NBA, I think NBA fans, we got a Christmas gift as the latest news about NBA inside of the NBA. We'll talk about that, and then everybody's favorite, our favorite sports nephew is back in the headlines. So we'll talk about Bronny James, and we'll talk about pretty much Ryan Clark's thoughts on our sports nephew Maui. As we talk about Bronny James, we'll talk about that because obviously it's there. We'll do our picks, and then we'll round out tonight's pod tonight with our game ball this week. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna take a brief time out, and we'll be right back here on Couch Coach Live. And we like that, and we're back here on Couch Coach Live. Our boy Big Kirkle didn't have a good game in the Mile High on Sunday, but hey, shout out to the Falcons, and they just doing their thing. But yeah, so we are back here on Couch Coach Live. This week's Couch Coach Live is powered by the good folks at SeatGeek. Head over to SeatGeek.com. Use our promo code Couch Coach. Get yourself $20 off your next purchase. So we are here, and and it's funny we talked about the Kansas City Chiefs as far as a lot of people pundits were saying, "Hey, what if they run the table?" We talked about kind of a lot of it,
Hmm.
but all that talk now comes to a rest, and thank goodness, as
Hmm.
the Chiefs finally lost their first game. They lost. Buffalo Bills won that game 30-21. What was your thoughts on the Chiefs' first loss?
Um, I mean, it was coming. They got, like everybody was saying, they really wasn't playing up to, I guess you could say, the Chiefs standards. Still a very good game. there was some opportunities for Kansas City. I feel like Kansas City should have won this game. Um, but when you know what I'm saying, the Bills basically held the ball 10 minutes more, possessed the ball a little bit more um, than the Chiefs. They didn't touch um, Josh Allen once. They didn't sack him once in the turnovers. But there still was opportunities, man, that I think the Chiefs really didn't capitalize. But when I think about the Kansas City Chiefs, I always feel like they go through these mishaps. Like when Worthy got the big play, but his feet wasn't in bounds. You know what I mean? Like it just always see Kansas City running back or receiver something like that, like some big mistake. You know what I mean? But besides that, great game. Um, I'm sure if they play again, I'm sure the Chiefs will take this one. But congratulations to the Bills. Like Amari Cooper was a big pickup for them.
Yeah. I think this is a blessing in disguise for this Kansas City Chiefs team. I
Me too.
definitely they needed a slice of adversity, and this is where it kind of came into play. I mean, you look at like even Patrick Mahomes' performance. I mean, granted, yes, he 23 for 33, but he also threw two key interceptions.
Hmm.
Obviously, the one in the game with Terrell Bernard getting an interception pretty much, and on that 4th and 13 play pretty much was the balance of that game. So you look at that, can that be cleaned up? And obviously, he had interception in the first quarter. So they know, hey, we got to clean that up. And I know a lot of people say, well, I know a lot of Bills fans were saying, hey, just give it to them, so because they've won, I think, like 4 straight regular season games against this Kansas City Chiefs team.
Hmm.
Um, but I do love what Josh Allen did. That's one thing too. I always hop on the fact of even though he had that one interception, but like long as he limits his turnovers, Josh Allen is as good as they come, and that's one thing where he had a great performance. Obviously 24 for 40, 262, one touchdown and the interception. He also led the Bills in rushing with 55 yards, and also that huge 4th and 2 play to get the touchdown to pretty much seal the deal for this Buffalo Bills team. Um,
Hmm.
it just once again another run the mill in November. This is still a good game for this Bills team. And you just think to yourself, I know they proved me wrong because I thought they were going to be a team that might be on the fringe playoff team because I I thought that the team who just got rid of general manager, former Lee Davis, Mechanicsville High School standout, my guy, um, uh, Hugh, not Hugh Douglas, Lord, I'm trying to call him. But Joe Douglas getting fired from the Jets today, so then obviously with Robert Saleh. So that's here no there. But I thought the Jets were gonna kind of win this division, but now fast forward, it looks like the Buffalo Bills are pretty much on cruise control, and
Hmm.
they probably can clinch this division probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks potentially. I think they pretty much got this division sold up in my personal opinion.
Right.
But going to staying focused in this game, um, yeah, it was a good win for the Bills, but it's really not going to matter until these guys play each other. Maybe the third week, well, they probably won't play the third week of January because either one of these teams going to be 1 or 2 potentially. But I don't think yeah, a setup for a divisional or an AFC Championship rematch in a sense. I think they're past potentially there, but I think if this is a great opportunity for the Bills because I would still think that Kansas City will have another loss because obviously they still got some divisional. Still think they got the Chargers as well, and then obviously with the Broncos and the Raiders. Obviously Raiders, I think they play them Black Friday next Friday because I
Hmm.
know we can pretty much shoe in a Carolina win this week. So, but but anyway, um, so Buffalo still in that seat for potential to have a number 1 seed in the AFC. Which hey, I would love my chances yet again. Hey, I would rather have it at Highmark. Let them come to Western New York and do what they got to do. Even though we've seen this last year kind of play out too, where they went to Baltimore and won. So
Hmm.
it's good for now. I mean, for November 17th is good, but 2 months from today or or 9 or 10 weeks away from here, it's going to count because one of these teams is going to play and they're going to go home. So,
Right.
hey, good win for the Bills and great even in the losses are good for the Chiefs, in my personal opinion.
Right. Congratulations. But yeah, man, like it's like we something we've seen before. Just hopefully we'll see if the Bills really push forward. It seems like that's the team that's always holding them back.
Yeah, the only team that holds them back, unfortunately, at this
Right.
point. So, which I don't let me upload this video momentarily because we're gonna stay in the National Football League. So we're gonna talk about our next topic, and it's funny we talked about the Carolina Panthers. Obviously, that's the Chiefs' opponent this week. Obviously, the Carolina Panthers were off. They had a bad week following their win over the uh, New York Giants, arguably the worst team in the National Football League, in my personal opinion. So they went to Munich. They went to Munich 2 weeks ago. Obviously, if you paid attention kind of social media with the Panthers, um, some of their legends came to Munich. Obviously, you had the newly minted Hall of Famer, our guy Julius Peppers from the University of North Carolina, Thomas Davis, and Steve Smith as well, and a couple other guys from the Carolina Panthers. So this is a clip that we're gonna show by Cam Newton on 4th and 1. So definitely video credits go to 4th and 1. So shout out to Cam Newton, Peggy and them. So we're gonna play this quick clip of just his thoughts of just this whole Carolina and essentially not putting him in that kind of that legendary, not legendary tier, but more so of him not getting invites to this, and then also the certain things that he's seen since he's gone to the facility in the Tepper era. So we're gonna play that clip real quick right now.
Hey, honest question.
What's up?
Do you think Cam Newton has played his last down in the NFL?
Yeah, I believe so. I think you have
Breland, do you think I'm ever going back to play in the NFL?
Realistically, no.
Okay. Can I be vulnerable real quick?
Yeah.
All right. People don't know this story, but I'm going to tell it. I don't have no quarrel with David Tepper. I don't have no quarrel with nobody in the Panthers organization. I speak my mind unbiasedly, no matter who and what franchise it is. Last year, we had a 7-on-7 tournament in Charlotte.
Correct.
We went into the Panthers facility. And you mean to tell me one of the greatest Panthers to ever play ain't up nowhere? I'm talking nowhere. Who brought it to my attention? My son.
All right. So, what are your thoughts, Maui, on Cam Newton? Essentially, I say being disrespected by the Carolina Panthers brass. What are your thoughts on the clip?
Man, I feel bad. I feel bad for him because he really is hurt by it. Usually, his persona, he don't really, it's there for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Like to cover up any mishaps and blah, blah, blah. But, just about a month ago, they were talking about the Aaron Hernandez series that is out. And they brung up why he ended up getting kicked out of Florida. And I could see then he was bothered that they did not get in touch with him. I didn't know what happened, and it bothered him. You know what I'm saying? So it's clearly he's trying to do better with his character, and even besides all that, Carolina will be ashamed of themselves. You know what I mean? Like when you think of the Panthers, you think of me personally. I think of Cam Newton and Steve Smith. You know what I'm saying? So they ought to be ashamed of themselves. But, man, like you athletes that are icons, like just think about if he would have said, I wanted to leave the Panthers and go somewhere else. You know what I mean? Things might have been a little different for him. I mean, he took them to the Super Bowl, man. And I'm sure it probably was the top selling jersey for them. I think it's very extremely disrespectful. I like Cam Newton since he's been doing his podcast. I liked him when he played football. But I did also um criticize him. If you're going to be that type of flamboyant guy, you got to take whatever, like I said, whatever is going to come at you pertaining to something that we spoke on years ago. I was just talking about the same thing and we were talking about it. But this situation right here is part of the Carolina Panthers history. And I don't understand why they wouldn't have anything with him on it in anywhere in there. Like, even if they, especially when they knew that he was probably going to be around, you know what I mean? I don't understand that. Um, so I would say this: congratulations, man, because I thought he got a spot on ESPN.
He's on First Take on Fridays.
First take. So me, honestly, shout out to him for that, because now he could just move forward, and some people gonna remember those, and some people gonna introduce to when he played football. But shout out to that man, because he can move forward and build upon that. Because seem like to me they trying to make it seem like trying to make him be forgotten. I'm sorry. And one more thing, my thing is too, like, his teammates. Like, I'm trying to figure out why his teammates wouldn't say, where Cam at? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, Steve Smith seemed like he's a straight up person. Like, why wouldn't you make sure Cam is there? Or make sure Cam around? That's just strange to me. You think it's something that we don't know is going on behind the scenes?
I don't necessarily think, but I don't necessarily think it's something behind the scenes. It could be something, but like, as far as like when it comes to other players, I think it's more of a Tepper thing. I think if anybody told him to bring Cam, I think he would not listen. I think there might be a potential rift. I don't know, like, who would be at fault, because that, to me, just doesn't make any sense for him not to be invited to Munich. Especially considering the fact that, and he did also say in the video that, like, he's talking about, like, as far as the first floor, he said that he was told that there's some piece of him on the second and third floor, but that still negates the fact, in my personal opinion. I kind of backtrack,
Right.
but the fact that my thing is, to me, it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be a curse, a black cloud over this organization, because I think of this said thing. Because it's, to me, with this Carolina Panthers situation, they're only been around for 30 years. Now, I can understand if this is like, just give you from a numbers perspective, and this is the New York Giants, who celebrate their 100th year of existence. This is a 30-year franchise who, when I think about quarterbacks from the Carolina Panthers, I think of their first one, Frank Wright. Frank Wright is their first ever quarterback. Kerry Collins, Jake Delhomme, who is, led them to their first ever Super Bowl appearance, and then Cam Newton, and then obviously Bryce Young. These are the five that really out in a 30-year period. When you sit there and you think to yourself, what's the point of this? And then you guys sit to yourself, like, even regardless of how, we have to even be more in more recent times, through almost 3 years ago to the date when Cam Newton came back to his franchise, I think, and they played Washington. When he came back in 2021, that was just 3 years ago. So if he was good enough to sell out that arena when nobody was really, and now you look at what's going on with the Panthers now, they barely can fill up that arena. So, in my personal opinion, when it comes to this situation, my personal opinion, they got to do right by Cam. They got to have something to a point where they got to meet, him and Tepper got to meet with each other and clear this air out. Because at the end of the day, somebody who has meant so much to your franchise and should definitely be a part of it. He was your quarterback that led you to the greatest season you ever had in your franchise history. He led them to a 15-1 season that catapulted them to go to the Super Bowl. And I understand people say, well, if he would have recovered, if he would have went down on the ground and got the fumble, it'd be a different story. That's here nor there. Like, you, in the same breath, you can say the same thing In a sense, for any other player, I guarantee you, any of these players that went to Munich made some type of critical or crucial error, and it's something may not be as big as Super Bowl, but still, he still was an MVP. He still won MVP that year. So, in my personal opinion, I'm telling you, it's gonna be this is gonna be a black cloud that's gonna hover over this team, and I'm telling you, until they get this right, it's gonna be some problems. So and I do feel for Cam because I
I
definitely feel
do.
about it. I've always said has always been like disrespect. I mean, we can go back to even the situation with the kids and the 707.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk about what happened with him and Kimberly Martin when he had that discussion about game managers versus the game
Right.
managers conversation and
Right.
pretty much equated Cam Newton to as somebody watching her on television, while he's sitting in the basement, and now they're coworkers. Go figure.
Right.
So it's just one of those things where it's just like, I mean, straight up, Panthers got to do right by Cam.
And,
Got to mend some
and, and,
fences.
and you're right. And I know that the subject is more about how the Panthers treated him. Do you think there's something? Because even when he was, everybody was getting on him about that he shouldn't, like, about him still playing. Like, it was almost like they were trying to dummy him down, and he was like, "You mean to tell me that y'all really think these 32 quarterbacks is better than me?" You know what I'm saying? And like, it was almost like they was trying to really. I mean, some people was telling him reality or how to deal with it, but it just seemed like ever since that, when we heard that statement, it was just a lot of, like, disrespecting his character, like them dudes trying to beat him up, that big fight that they had. You know what I mean? It was just a lot of little things. Like, it just, and then I remember the pod he had with his dad, and it was like he was really trying to show himself a little bit more. So, like, almost like trying to get people to understand him a little bit more. But do you think he's battling some things about his character? And maybe seeing this, because I'm telling you, I've seen the last month, I've seen two things that came from his past that he kind of seemed like, you know what I mean? He want to push away. And he was like, man, I wish they would have talked to me about that laptop. I wish they would have, you know what I mean? Do you think he's dealing with that?
I think it's just human emotion. I think you go
Right.
through these things, and now in retrospect, because I think now he can look at this type of stuff and kind of reflect. I think sometimes when
Right.
you are at obviously at him being a quarterback at a high level, he don't really have time to really kind of
Right.
grasp everything that's happened in his past. And I think this is a good opportunity, like the whole podcast, him talking and
Right.
him just being, showing that personality to show that he's vulnerable, and it is what it is. And I think it's
Right.
just a typical 35-year-old man is still trying to navigate through life like we all have been.
Right.
We all been 35
Right.
once upon a time, and
Right.
you just go through the stages of your life, and
Huh.
some
He's
of us don't have to.
35?
I think he's 35. I think he's more like
Okay.
89. So I think he's 35. I think he's
That makes
either
sense now.
35 or in his.
Yeah.
So everybody kind of goes through that kind of phase in their life, and it's like a kind of to go back to the point where he's just going through the motions of his life, and I think that's the thing about it. Not many of us have go on a platform and kind of discuss these type of said issues, and that's just what he's going through. And I think it's just a typical for somebody of his age, and now having an opportunity to now be fully out of the game, fully out of everything, where he can really just kind of focus on stuff that essentially he didn't worry about, or he
Right.
got caught up in the work. And a lot of things too, when I think people do stuff like the nature of like football and all that, that's their sanctuary. It gives them that solace and kind of make them kind of forget what's going on in their life or whatever. But more so, I think in the sense that, hey, I can now sit down and kind of be in my thoughts. Now he knows, like almost to in that clip where, hey, do you let's be honest, is my career over? and now
Mm-hmm.
he knows it. And I think this is where I think and I think he probably had to deal with that reality too, because it's not like a
Mm-hmm.
situation where he didn't retire, the game retired him. So you got to think
Right.
about a lot of other factors with it. So I think I think it's just layers of it, and then obviously all the other stuff, this whole situation with him and him being interviewed by Shane Bryant. Oh, I mean, all the type of stuff. I think it's just a lot of. I think that's one thing too. Now I think we're starting to really look at not just that. That's not excluded to Cam Newton, but just the people who are now having these podcasts and really kind of revealing their lives. I think it's
Yeah.
just one of those things where people just they go through it. I think I think this is going
Mm-hmm.
to be like a new normal for people. I think
Right.
we used to be in the era where hey, you not us personally, but you write in a journal. Now people like
Right.
put it in a podcast. So
Right.
yeah, I mean he's like I said, once upon a time we were 35, and hey, you go through those type of moments. Just
Right.
not on a podcast, but
Right.
life.
Right. Like when he he brung up the laptop, he was like, "Damn, man, I got deals on the table. Y'all could have had a conversation." Like, I didn't want to bring that up, like but I think that's gonna be the. I think that's gonna be the beautiful thing of it is to watch his growth. Like, there's a lot of guys, man, that got podcasts now. Like we were just talking today, when my dad came over, just seeing the stories with Gil and him even admitting the mistakes he made with Swaggy P. You know what I mean? Showing him one side when he should have been showing him the working side. You know what I mean? Like, um, you just like even seeing Kenya Martin up there cry about his son being traded. You know what I mean? And how it affect the family. It's real. It's real. Rashad McCann's insecurity about not having an NBA career as he his expectations was. So it's a lot of these guys that's be on these podcasts, man. It's really interested to see a different side of them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So shifting the focus now, we talked about Cam Newton and all that. So now we're going to kind of switch some to the NBA a little bit. So we're going to talk about inside the NBA. If you check this out in May, we talked about as far as all the television deals, how they were all going to work out, and we knew that one of the dominoes was going to be TNT. They were going to lose NBA rights, and I almost
Mm-hmm.
almost had somewhat of a little crisis moment on the show,
Right.
kind of talking about it, and but I'm very happily to report that this will not be the final season of Inside the NBA. So ESPN will take over broadcasting rights to the show. Now, TNT will continue to independently produce Inside the NBA. So basically, it's going to be almost like a licensing deal, almost kind of eerily similar. We think about like a Pat McAfee in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
So then, and this is from an article that was posted. So they're saying that the crew will appear on ESPN/ABC high-profile events. And that's going to be chronicling the pregame coverage, halftime, and postgame coverage. So the big time events they said they included were the NBA Finals, the Conference Finals, the playoffs, and then ABC games after January the 1st, Christmas Day games, and opening week, and then the final week of the season, and other marquee events throughout the NBA season. There is no note of the All-Star game because the All-Star game will be on ESPN's next year. As and the let me kind of reframe this. This all be effective for next year as a new TV deal kicks in for the 2025-2026 NBA season. Now, NBA Countdown and NBA Today will continue to carry on as well. So you'll have Inside the NBA as well as the other ESPN NBA coverage as well. So your thoughts on Inside the NBA being salvaged?
Man, I'm sure everybody's happy. That's what's up. I'm me personally. I didn't watch it. I haven't really watched it much over the years because I just felt like I don't know, man. Like it's just sometimes they criticize. Anyway, I'm happy for them. I heard Charles Barkley was saying that he was really bummed because there's a lot of people who put a lot of effort and that help with the production and have a family, and he want, so if they could fix it, he said it'd be great because he want to do it for them. So that's great. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Sometimes I feel like shows like that's been around, just like the Tonight Show. You know what I'm saying, or something like that. It's been around for so long, or Price is Right. You know what I'm saying? Wheel of Fortune. I know they're games, but I'm just saying those are cultural shows that's been around for so long that you could salvage it, put it on a big network like ESPN, and so that's great. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy for him. I do wish though I would like to see some new guys inside the NBA. That's just me though.
Yeah, I love it because you salvage the best show on television. To me, it's the
Yeah.
best show on television. I mean, you got the perfect mix of personalities. In my personal opinion, I was the fact of even before this news, I thought about it even in October, the opening night. I'm like, man, this could
Hmm.
be the last opening night with this crew, and I like this. It's gonna suck, and I knew the conference finals. If we talked about this in May during the conference finals, and that would have been in, you could have had some strong emotions coming out of me for sure. To me, it's the ultimate. Like to me, it's the best show because of just the chemistry, how everything goes together. I mean, obviously, I think Ernie Johnson is the glue. He's the
Right.
institution. He's the greatest of all time. You look at that,
Mm.
and then he's able to kind of reel it in when Shaq and Chuck kind of get off the rails, and then Kid is the instigator. So it's like it makes for great television, and they do make, in my personal opinion, because hell, I'm obviously I'm watching TNT now, so I'm ready for like what midnight, 12:30, 1 o'clock for Inside the NBA to come on because
Hmm.
to me it gives me that comic release. It kind of reminds me of like like you talked about the institutions. Like it reminds me like it's my late night. It's my Jay Leno. Obviously, it's
Yeah.
a millennial.
Yeah.
That's my Jay Leno because I wasn't really the Johnny Carson was
Right.
obviously I was a baby when that was around,
Right.
but that's my that's my kind of late night show that makes that I love. So
Hmm.
it is perfect, and I do like the fact where because I think when I first heard the story this weekend, I was thinking, oh gosh, we're gonna have maybe potentially crossovers, which I hope that does not happen as far as
Hmm.
Stephen A goes there or a Big Perk goes to Inside the NBA. I'm like, no, keep those guys, even if they're not there. You bring in like, I know you have like Jamal Crawford, uh,
Hmm.
Candace Parker, and Phyllis. I think I've got the guy named Jared that in place of I know sometimes they have Kevin Frazier there if Ernie's not there. So keep those guys. Don't like Phil if Shaq or Chuck can't come, don't bring Stephen A. Smith. I think separate the two. And I think, and if Ernie's out, don't bring Malika Andrews. Don't do that. And
Well.
I'm here, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And my thing with it is I do like I'm ecstatic to hear this. And they'll be on pretty much during this whole 11-year deal, which I don't necessarily think all of those guys will be there
Right.
after 11 years or what have you. But I'm excited. It's through the roof. I'm so excited about this.
Shout out to the big wig that put. I think I didn't get his name. I heard it earlier. His name was Joe something. But when he made the phone call, they said he was like, he's been competing with trying to find a show to compete with inside the NBA. And he was like, man, I think I know a way to make it happen. And I guess you could say shout out to Pat McAfee. You know what I'm saying? Like I think he being such a success, they let him do what he do that don't do nothing but open the doors for other shows that, you know what I mean? And so to him it looks like a win. Like how many Emmys have they won?
Gosh, countless. I don't
Yeah,
even know the
right.
number.
And right. And so like for him, he like, man, and when I sit back and think about it, I said, damn, they have been trying to make an NBA show for for NBA, and they haven't been able to put one together and stay consistent. You know what I mean? And that's why you see Stephen A working so much. You know what I mean? Oh, let's just throw Stephen A in there. He'll make it. Let's throw this person in there. So, hey man, as long as y'all happy, as long as you're happy, man. Me personally, I'm ready for some new. I'm ready for some new,
Yeah.
some good new guys, man.
And you might get it with TNT because you're probably gonna get Draymond probably because if you in this think about it's 11-year deal, so
Hmm.
that runs out probably about 2036, 37. I guess
Hmm.
2036, 2037 season. So I don't necessarily think you will have like a Charles Barkley there because he'll be in his 70s. I know at some point he's gonna want to retire within that 11-year window because I think he's 61 now. So I can't see Chuck essentially being there at 72 because I know he's always have said I don't want to be that old on television. So
Right.
going off of that, so I think you will get new blood as it persists, and plus, I mean, I think we will get something. I mean, I don't necessarily think those guys stay on for 11 years, and I don't know how long Ernie will want to stay, but hey,
Right.
long as TNT does this and they do their own thing and
Right.
don't do crossovers. That's my biggest thing. No crossovers. If you
Right.
need to replace somebody, replace them in house because you got like I talked about Jamal Crawford. I don't
Right.
know if Vince Carter do the Nets games. I don't know if he a part of that rotation or not. But
I liked it, Chris Webber, man. I liked it when Chris Webber was there, man.
yeah, they let that man go.
Didn't they though? He got his. Then next thing you know, he got his own strain of weed.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely. I definitely like what Sewell what he did, and so yeah, crazy, crazy, crazy. But I'm excited about this inside the NBA. Get pump new blood because
I'm serious, man. I can see
yeah,
you see Charles Barkley at the All-Star game. I really like Megan Thee Stallion. Yeah, she's good. I was like, oh my god.
and I'm curious what they're gonna do as far as All Star game now
Hmm.
because they didn't in the article they didn't state that they was going to be a part of the ESPN coverage for the All Star game. So I'm now curious how they will play in the factor for All Star game. So
Hmm.
it's
I
going to be
mean,
interesting though.
it's gonna be interesting, and I think that I think they're gonna let them do them. I think the gentleman after Pat McAfee and whatever other show, and like I said, even Cam had said something, and then he got a job like the next day. He said I forgot what he was talking about, but the next day he got a job on ESPN. You know what I mean? And I'm like, whoever this guy is, he's like, man, we not wasting no time. Let's go ahead and get get some of these guys in here. You know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and get some of these guys that's trending, that's making these moves before they get too big. And I mean, that's just think it's genius. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I think what they're starting to do now is just pretty much giving these like independent shows and
Right.
independent productions that because you think about that's what they're doing with the Manning cast because
Right. I forgot about
it's
the
another
Manning. That's
one.
right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they're another one through Omaha Production. So that's not even something that
Right.
ESPN do. So it's kind of one of those things where
Right.
it kind of remind me almost if you think about it from a different standpoint, almost like ESPN started to become like the Uber, where in a sense, hey, they're the ones who are kind of the hub of the content,
Right.
but the people that the people are the cars that are driving the people around. They don't
Right.
own the content necessarily. They own they own it, but they don't as far as in-house type of production, almost like an Uber where hey, we don't as a company don't own the cars, but we have independent contractors in a sense to have
Right.
use their own cars
Right.
and use their own production, and we just
Right.
distribute, the connections to the person who needs a ride to the
Right.
driver. And the same thing here where, and it's great for ESPN because now you've got like these popular shows and now they're coming to your network and you becoming a funnel for it. And
Right.
you can kind of even what TNT kind of doing on the low end with them where because TNT, I don't know know if it's going to be this year or the following year. They're going to be broadcasting college football, the first round games of the college football playoff.
Right.
So that's going to be kind of cool.
Think
I'm thinking it's this. I think it's this year.
I,
So
I think I think it's part of the deal. I think that was part of the
it's
deal.
part of the deal. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's part of the deal. Yeah.
yeah. So
So
yeah. Then I got an app and it has TNT 1, 2, and then it got like 4 or 5 TNT Sports, and
yeah,
man, they be having UFC on there.
yeah. I think they're gonna do that. They got NASCAR. They got a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, in these next few years or what have you. But yeah. So it's a good thing where TNT kind of can still keep sports and still kind of have somewhat of a pulse of the NBA in a sense, because I think a lot of people, I know, like for me, especially in the regular season, I don't really watch a lot of games per se, but I'll watch inside the NBA just to
Right.
kind of keep me up. And then of course, who doesn't want to play the game? Who he played for? And Charles Barkley go like 0 for 8 because he has no unearthly idea who somebody played for. So, it's gonna be. I'm just excited. I'm just through the
um.
roof. I'm just it's awesome.
Right. I mean, it is though. You could tell that it was really sad, and they was able to fix it. They was able to fix it. So that's what's up.
Yeah. So, yeah, talk about our everybody's favorite sports nephew, LeBron James Jr., aka Bronny. So, obviously, there was some news. Obviously, we kind of backtrack. If you haven't really been paying attention to the NBA since almost since the beginning of the season, obviously we had the moment where Bronny James and LeBron played with each other on opening night. Then Bronny goes on a 5-game road trip with the Lakers. Then they said that, hey, he's going to go to the G League. And then he goes to the G League, and then there was reports saying that, hey, he's only going to play in G League home games. He will not travel with the team, the G League team, the South Bay Lakers. So, obviously, I know everybody has tons and tons of kind of their thoughts and their opinions on it, but I found it very interesting of one individual who had somewhat of a say on it. So this is from Ryan Clark, which we are going to pull that up. Yes, we got it pulled up. Okay, let's see. Do I have it? Okay. Yes, I do have it pulled up on the side there. All right, so I'll read that quote. Obviously, I'm a champion of reading in front of the class, so we'll do that. So this is what Ryan Clark. This is from Legion Hoops. Definitely huge shout out to them. I use your content from time to time on TikToks. I would love a follow Legion Hoops if you're listening. But, beggars should be choosers. But hey, I'm here. So this is what Ryan Clark said, and it's a quote. Quote, what has Bronny James done that he shouldn't be able to stay at the Courtyard Marriott? You say, well, they fly commercial. What has Bronny James done where he should be too good to fly commercial? The pros isn't where you come from, how you were raised, what your parents had. Professional sports is about how well you can contribute. End quotes. Your thoughts on Ryan Clark's comments on Bronny James?
His perspective. That's all I can really say. Is that's how he feels. That's how a lot of people feel. That's his perspective. But he played for the. He's not. Not everybody's a draw. Not everybody can say their name is going to draw and sell out where they go to. When Bronny go to these games in other arenas, they're screaming his name. That's just what it is. It is what it is. Every place he go to, there's people there to see him. And hopefully either the Lakers are getting blown out by 20 or they're winning by 20 at the end of the game so he can get in the game. and that's just the truth. It is what it is. We just seen it was a boxing match on Netflix. Everybody, I didn't watch it because I knew that it was a circus for the main event. But before that, there was a bunch of great fights, but nobody remembers them. All everybody remembers is Jake Paul and Tyson. So, but my dad said that one of the reasons that they're doing that because he said they needed to protect him because he been getting a lot of death threats and things of that nature. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I hadn't heard anything like that, but that's what he said he heard. I just think that Bronny's a draw. So when they go on these road trips, it's a lot of people there to want to see him. Yeah, people may agree with it, and people may disagree with it. That's my perspective.
Yeah. I agree with Ryan Clark. I understand, like, as far and we talked about this even in June during this, where it was going to be a circus. We know, and essentially that the Lakers, they aren't in it to win. They're in it for the dollars. That's been article. That's been something that you can look at. Take Your Son to Work podcast that you can look up from June of 2024. That's what it is. So to me, I think it's crazy because obviously you look at, and I understand, like you said, it's from the money's perspective because now you're charging guys $200 to go to a G League game and your seats are at a practice facility. $200 to go to a G League game where damn near you can get a G League ticket in most circles. You can probably go to the Capital City Go-Go. You probably can get that for the price that you can buy a can of soda or a pack of drink. It's that crazy. But me personally, if I want to look at it from a basketball perspective, I hate this. I hate that this is all going on. And this kind of almost to our point. Didn't want to kind of bring it up last week about as far as the viewership being down in the NBA, like what Brian Windhorst said, because like these type of storylines, and it's just like it's just, to me, it baffles me because it almost like it causing a rift between the two teams, in my personal opinion, where it's just like, I think if you all in on the development of Bronny James, he needs to go to the G League. He needs to have that experience of playing with this team, developing chemistry, and him being there all full time. To me, this whole you in or you out, I hate it. Like, okay, so now, he only at home games, so he can't travel. And I don't necessarily think and I know people saying, well, it's because, he's such a big star, this and third, like, the security on it. But 2 years ago, when he was playing with Sierra Canyon, it wasn't a problem. Like, they traveled every week. Hell,
yeah.
He went every.
Right.
I got you. Let me.
No, I didn't say that. I just said I got you. I said I'm agreeing with you.
All right. Because I thought you were saying something, so I was like, Okay. So it wasn't a problem 2 years ago when he was taking those charter flights. He became here to Richmond 4 years ago, or 5 years ago now. Like they went cross country every weekend. So you can't make that excuse because it is what it is, and I guarantee you, So and then the whole thing about him staying in certain hotels, I guarantee he did the same thing at USC. So I'm like, what's the problem there? Y'all acting like he's the president's son or something. Like he needs Secret Service in a sense. So I'm like, to me, if you want to develop Bronny, he needs to stay in the G League. He needs to be around those guys who are just as hungry as him to make that roster spot. But I know this isn't a basketball thing. We know that for a fact because these concessions wouldn't be made for anybody. Like, even I think if a guy who really needs to be is Quincy Oliveira, like he should actually be on this 15-man roster for the LA Lakers. If you sit down and really think about it, that's a guy who needs to be potentially to have this so-called home and home type of treatment. But I think he needs to develop in the G League and I don't think he would have a problem with that. Because like I talked about it in the episode when he got drafted, where he's just a normal guy. He's nothing about him that stands out. He's just a guy. I think he's cool with everybody. Because even if you look at that documentary when he was at Sierra Canyon, he was just one of the guys in the locker room. He didn't, and nothing about him said like, "Oh, I'm LeBron's son." He just wanted the teammates that just did his thing, and he looked out for his brothers like they all looked out for him. So my biggest thing with this is just like I don't understand. Like it's just to me, it's dumb. Like, and I know somebody made the comment. He's the first ever NBA player to work from home, and so it's just like that's what it really feels like to me. And I hate that they're doing this to Bronny. I really, really hate this because it's like you talk about he's a developmental player, then in one token, you're causing the rift between two teams. Like it's really going to help. It's going to really hurt the chemistry and the flow of both of these teams, especially if on the South Bay Lakers side. So we understand it's money. This tell us it's about money. It's about the show. This not talk about developmental and all type of stuff because that developmental plan is trash. I hate it.
I got you.
And like I said, I said this in April, and I'll stand by it. He should have stayed at USC, and I got this on the TikTok. He should have stayed at USC. You got a good coach, Eric Musselman, an NBA caliber head coach that's going to help you develop. Because this back and forth going to the G League, you playing 25 minutes here, then you go to the Lakers on the road, and you're getting 0 minutes. You're getting, if you do, you might get 2 minutes. Even on opening day, you got 2 minutes.
Right.
He should have stayed there. And I say this with love and all this. The plan was he should have stayed at USC. He should have stayed at USC where he could develop. They should have talked to Eric Musselman and say, "Hey, what do you see? What do you see his game at? How do you, and improve from there?" Like like you said, this is a circus, and I'm just tired of all the clowns and the musicians and everything that's around it. Hell, at this point, I need some popcorn. Give me some free popcorn in this clown show.
You should have been got some popcorn. Right. It's all entertainment.
Yeah, I know. Really, I mean, we said it. I mean,
I hear what you're saying, but I knew a person, right? And I was like, they played JV basketball. He got asked to play varsity. He knew he wasn't going to play. And I said, yo, all your homeboys and everything is on the JV team. Y'all all eventually going to play together when you're senior. You know what he said? He said, man, I want to go to varsity. He said, I know I ain't gonna get no playing time. It's almost the same thing. Like,
but at least, yeah, I'm okay.
But I mean, I'm just be honest with you, it's almost the same thing. Whereas, it going back and forth. But hey, man, I just don't understand why everybody's it's a lot of other things going on in the NBA, and why everybody's making such a big thing because LeBron James is saying, I want my son to be near me. I just don't understand. I don't know why everybody blowing this out of proportion. Like, if you hear Kenyon Martin when he speak about his son, and they say, I don't think he should go to G League because they said it's a bunch of things going on down there. You really don't want him to stay down there. You know what I mean? But I trust you guys when y'all say, well, he needs reps. To me, he gonna get that when he practicing with the practice squad and the player development guys anyway. But I just don't understand. I'm telling y'all, it's so much more. I'm watching the Cavs that's 15-0 versus the Boston Celtics. Ain't nobody talking about that. I'm talking about like my man LaMelo out there balling. There's a whole bunch of other stuff to be talking about, but everybody worried about Bronny playing the G League and a young man Quincy, who actually nobody would even seen if Bronny was on the team. Nobody would paying any attention to Quincy if Bronny wasn't there. Did nobody know who Quincy was before they was watching Bronny?
But like you said, because he's the draw, that's the thing.
Yeah,
that's why people are talking about him. But to your point, where and I don't mind like even to your point about the JV varsity comparison,
right?
But JV, he was going to be elevated to varsity the next year or what have you. So this thing with me is it's either you in or you out, like the Kenyon Martin thing. Like, yes, either you decide, hey, he shouldn't go to G League or he should. I don't think you should have both of those type of options. That's my biggest thing.
Right.
To me, yes, he could get the reps. He can get that third, but will he really get the reps essentially in that type of way where you can't go from, okay, I'm only gonna be in the G League only for their home games. So the chemistry that I developed with these guys, will that carry over to when I go to the Lakers when they're on the road? So it's
Right.
kind of
Mhm.
it's one of the things where it's either you in or you out. But I think the Quincy story, I mean, because he bought out in the preseason. I mean, that's why
Right.
like the whole him the Steph Curry, him crying and
Right.
going back to Kmart's point where Kmart was clowning, and I'm like, dude, didn't you
Right.
just cry because your son because your youngest son can't see see
Right.
KJ every other day after the game? Like,
Right.
are we being hypocritical? Like,
Definitely be
truly,
hypocritical.
right?
Right.
Crying,
You know.
crying like KJ gone, and
Right.
and then this man meet his goat, and now you think that's like, oh, that's clown. No, it's not. Like, if your idol, because he's so busy trying to beat up an old Karl Malone. And when he was a rookie, and he's trying to embrace. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Right.
yo, stop being hypocritical, man. And that pisses me off when Kmart do stuff like that. And I like Kmart, but when he, when he came for him about the Steph Curry thing, I'm like, dude, chill.
Well, he's an athlete, man, and athletes. Some of them are sharp, and then some of them, you know what I'm saying, but the maturity about them being retired that they paying, he said he apologized. And then he said, hold on, he played for what? Xavier? No wonder, you know what I mean? To make it more comical. But once he realized what he did, like, nah, man, that ain't right. You know what I mean? And it's 2024, man. Like, what are we talking about? Like, of course people are gonna say, man, that's my idol right there, or that's or somebody saying they think Paul George is their GOAT. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mad at that. People like, oh, he crazy. No, he may like Paul George. I used to like Kenny Skywalker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, you feel
right,
me? It's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? I
right,
used to be crazy about the Knicks, man. I was crazy about Mark Jackson, man. You could tell me
yeah,
nothing, man. So
right.
I'm just saying I understand, and I really want to understand why is everybody. I mean, I get it, but if I'm an owner, right? Let me tell you, every NBA team is really excited about Bronny because they have something that they know they're gonna be able to sell tickets for. You know what I mean? I'm just being honest. When he go here, they're gonna be screaming his name, and it's a whole different demographic of gamers people who probably don't even watch basketball like that because he plays the game. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. Everybody looking at the integrity of the game and things of that nature, but I'm not gonna put it past if okay, this is what I want to understand. I'm trying to understand the minor leagues. Because what I thought was you go to the minor leagues and then you can get called up. But then at the same time, you will have to go back. Because I think Frank Mason, when he played for the Bucks, and was it Quentin? What's the little short dude from PG
Quick
County?
Cook, Quick Cook.
If I'm not mistaken, both of them had they was big players in the G League. And what I remember is they had two-way where they would go from the G League to whatever team they was on. And so I'm thinking that's what you do. Like, you know what I'm saying? If they want you to be on the bench, you got to be on the bench. If you got to go back, go play with the damn, you know what I'm saying? I thought that's what you had to do, but I mean, maybe I'm tripping.
But there's levels to that where, okay, like you said, yes, you get called up, but you get called up for a certain set of time, and it's not like a, hey, you only gonna play home games, you only gonna play road games. And they might call you up for like 5 games because somebody might be out, this and third. But for you to have parameters on him, like he only stipulations because of a home game, no, that's never happened. That's the thing where, yes, you can get called up, but it's not a situation where we're only going to call you for home games. No, if you are a 5 game window, if you are in the G League and as far as when it comes to that, it doesn't matter if it's a home game or a road game. They call you up, they're gonna call you up. And if you come back, you're gonna come back. It's not like a situation where, in this case, where I think we all get caught up in is
See,
he's only going to play home games,
right.
but but he can travel with the Lakers. So it's kind of like that's where I think the biggest issue is. Yes, you could get called up, but he's going to get called up every road game
Right.
versus it's not. It's most time it's set based on a certain circumstance. Hey, if
Right.
something's
I'm
going
with
on with
you.
the Lakers, if a guy is out or whatever, something they've been depleted by injuries, then you go, or you coming back off injury, you go here. But here, it's already pretty much. And then those are two-way guys, which Rich Paul didn't want Bronny to be two-way. So
Right.
this is where people are like, what in the holy F is going on? Like this just doesn't make any sense. You
So Rich Paul
you
didn't
didn't
want
want
him
him
to
to
do that?
dude, no, dude. This man is bad. Yeah, they wanted to give him a guaranteed contract. Yes,
Right.
they from the jump, like before they said they was gonna ship him to Australia. I think they talked about this like in the
Right. I remember
pre-draft.
that. I
What?
remember that.
Yeah,
You know
that's just
what?
like
You know what pisses me off about this? There's too many podcasts, and there should be somebody from the organization to speak on this, like so people can necessarily understand why. Me personally, I think Bron was like, man, I want my son near me. My son went into cardiac arrest. You know what I'm saying? I believe he like, man, I want him with me when I'm on the road. I want him with me.
he didn't have him with him last year at USC. But that's what I'm saying.
Right. That's
He can
what you
do the
saying. Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
Like that's the
Right.
thing where it's like
Well,
like the whole thing with the Marriott thing. What's wrong with going to the double tree on them? They got cookies. Like it
okay.
doesn't matter. Like, just
I'm gonna tell you.
imagine.
You know why? You listen to what you just said. You said it's all negotiations. So you saying that Rich Paul and them said they wanted to give him a guaranteed contract. They might have said, "Hey, to capitalize this, I want them to go. I want them to play. They could play home games, but he can go on the road." And then Rich Paul said, might have been like, and then they probably said, "Well, look, we gonna make sure he getting the best hotel." You know what I'm saying, or something like that. But Bronny don't give a damn about any of that. Just he
Right.
really don't. He really don't. But
And that's
but
the
but
problem.
and that is the problem. But I think people should. You speaking on it and you saying that they doing damage to him, but hey man, whatever you got to deal with, whatever be thrown to you. I think he gonna figure out a way. That's why I think he gonna show his real greatness because he ain't really speaking on it, and everybody's speaking for him. So he gotta play the hand that's being dealt with him. You know what I'm saying? Because he may not want that. He probably want to hang with them. Like he probably want to hang with that's the main thing everybody want anyway. Is to be, and then everybody got to understand too. Bronny been playing basketball for a long fucking time. And I hate to tell you this, a lot of people that play overseas, a lot of people that's playing in the league, and a lot of people in the G leagues, they know him because he's been playing basketball for a very, very long time. You know what I mean? So but I hear what everybody's saying, man, and I just be like, I appreciate you putting that thing about the Cam because I was just like, man, that stuff gets so overbearing, man. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. That's the main thing, though. I just think that they're using him for his celebrity. You know what I mean? And we have to understand that, like, that's one of we thought like LaMelo, like it's a lot of stars, right? That people want to capitalize on and they haven't been able to like they wanted to. I give you a few. Zion was a internet trend superstar, gets hurt a lot. Ja, they was ready to put that money behind Ja. Ja got in trouble. Ja gets hurt a lot. You know what I mean? LaMelo should be a superstar. Gets hurt a lot, but he balling right now. But it's a lot of that. Like, you know what I mean? Like the superstar, like everybody talk about is the Joker. Like what? No, who want to be like him? Like, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no little kids looking at the Joker like, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I want to, I'm just saying, man. Like, so they got Bronny now. They got Bronny now, and Bronny out. Them kids, we want Bronny. Bronny can make 4 or 6 points. He good.
But yeah, but you like I said, you already had the point that I said that he's just a normal guy. That I think he would be fine with what this is. It's people that's behind the scenes, and that was my point. It's not a dig on
right.
Bronny in a sense, and
right.
plus even your point with the LaMelo,
right.
Zion, and Ja. At least hell, they're all-stars. They've been an all-star before. Versus, this situation. So it's just like
right.
it's Like I
So
said,
you really let me ask you a question. You really don't
yeah.
think Bronny can play basketball?
He can play, but he's just not ready for this level of basketball.
So you
Like
think
I've
a
said,
lot
he's
of
not.
guys? So I mean, I'm not meaning to cut you off. I don't mean to cut you off. I've been wanting to ask people this. You got all these people on these benches, right? You don't think Bronny can beat any of them dudes? A lot of those guys that's on the bench and all these 32 teams. I think he'll smash a lot of those dudes.
But this is not like a 1v1 situation. I still think he needs to develop. I mean, and think to yourself, he's 6'1". Like he needs to develop a game. Like he needs to be a better defender. He can shoot better. Like
Right.
so, and that's goes to my point where even going into high school, I was saying, hey, if he goes to school for 3 to 4 years and develop and have great
Hmm.
coaching, he could be there. And I understand, yes, he's there now, but at what cost? Like he could be playing big time minutes at USC potentially. Like instead of playing 2 or 3 minutes with the Lakers in garbage time and then playing he played 25 minutes on Saturday in the G
Right.
League, so he's gonna go half and half. He could potentially be playing, 25, 30 minutes every single night for USC and
Right.
being developed by probably a NFL, not NFL, an NBA
NBA. NBA.
caliber head coach,
Right.
Eric Musselman. That's my thing. And like there's levels to it. And even like to your friend's point where J from JV to varsity, there is levels to that. And I guarantee you, even with that, there's a period where he could develop into the varsity player because it's like a pipeline. And
Hmm.
to me, he skipped the step to get to the correct pipeline because yeah, he can probably beat guys on a 1v1 situation, but can he do that on a team and can he defend their lead guard? Because at 6'1", you have to be at this point an elite defender because at 6'1", you are you have in a sense that's the only thing that you can really do, and besides being a good shooter and maybe have good handles and speed.
I think
I mean, that's all you
people
can do.
are. I think that since high school, people hadn't really seen him play. I think he's more scrappier playing defense than most of the dudes in the league because a lot of dudes in the league don't play defense. I think him being 6'1", a lot of those 6'1" guys, they actually do. They got speed in their and agility, and I think he a little more slick. Think he's a little more slick than people think. I don't say anything because everybody just jumped to go. He needs to. I say you really haven't really seen. You've seen him in the preseason, but you really didn't get a chance to see him play. And then I'm listening to guys. Don't nobody remember people's, regular guys' name that was rookies. And I think his only thing is he's just not aggressive. I think if he was more aggressive and say, I want to make this shot, I want to do this and that, it might be a little different. But I think he can ball, man. I just think that he just playing the way he want to play. You know what I mean? A lot of guys just want to get on the floor and just do what they told.
But it speaks to your point where you aren't going to see the attributes that you see in him because he won't be playing.
Right.
That's why I suggest for him to either at this point stay in the G League so those type of things can happen because how we're talking about it is like hypothetical because all we're seeing is a
Right.
sample size. Almost it's hard to scout a guy that only plays maybe 2 or 3 minutes on a bad night. I
Right.
mean on a good night on his end. So it's he like at this point he has to play at somewhere. Hell, it could be South Bay, University of Southern California, Los Angeles. You know, just play. So that can happen.
So y'all think that's what it is? Is people just want to see him play? That's the main
I
thing.
don't
People just want to see him play.
I don't
That's
necessarily think
just
it's a necessarily thing. I just think it's just one of those things where, especially at his age or anything, where especially considering the fact that you kind of bypassed the college aspect, where I thought you would have had time to play. I mean, that's everybody's goal is to play. That's the thing. You want to play, and like you said, you can do this in practice, this and third. You can shoot around with JJ Redick, but
right.
we aren't going to see the consumer of that product. We're not going to see him shooting in the gym on a random 11 o'clock in the morning at the facility. We want to see it in the game, and I know he wants to kind of get himself an opportunity to play. That's almost not like to kind of quote Herman Edwards. Hello, you play. That's what you're supposed to play. You want to play.
Right.
You want to get some form of minutes, and he had 25 minutes on Saturday. So I'm like, hey, if I can get that every night with the South Bay Lakers, I'll take it. I would take it because that's like everything. Everything in life requires reps. I mean, yes, you can sit on the end of the bench all you want, but I mean, hey, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But if you want to get better,
Everybody did
develop,
that. A lot of people sat on the end of the
Haskell.
bench.
Yeah,
A lot of dudes sat on
he's
the end of
not.
the bench in the beginning. See, when they beginning their joint, a lot of people. That's what I'm saying. A
That's
lot of
true.
guys sat on the end of a lot of guys sat on the end of the on that end of the bench. They rookie season, they didn't get a lot of time, and it's weird because when I'm listening to them, I'm like, well, why is it that everybody talking about him when everybody seemed like they had to sit on the bench? Is it because it's wide? I don't know. Is it wide open for rookies to play now or something? I mean, I'm really just
I mean,
confused.
not necessarily, but if you have the option, because I think when you think about players in the past, of like I think of like a Jermaine O'Neal in a sense, or like those
Mm-hmm.
guys like them, they didn't have a developmental league, especially considering that
Mm-hmm.
now. If this was just if we could take the South Bay Lakers out of the equation, it is what it is. But you have that option where you don't have to be on the end of the bench. You can get some quality minutes. My only thing is it don't matter about anybody else, past, present, or future. But if you
Mm-hmm.
have that option, why not use that option for road games? Why not use that option every single chance? Because it's all about getting minutes for him and getting reps. Like if you're getting 25 minutes on the South Bay Lakers, take it out like that. And that's one thing about life. Take advantage of the opportunity that are given to you. That 25 minutes a game that he could potentially get with South Bay, take it. And don't give it to him and says, well, you're only gonna do it for home games. I know we're doing it for home games because obviously the money.
Right, I hear
But
you.
like I said, it's about
Mm-hmm.
developmental. But it's not. It's about the
I think
money.
think if anybody else in that South Bay Lakers, if they had an opportunity to make that decision that you're saying that Bronny should take, they're going to be like, I would rather go travel with the what's name team than play and just play home game. I think they would take it. But I hear what you're saying. I do hear what you're saying because I said the same thing. I said, bro, your team, your JV team is a national. It's a you know what I'm saying? It's a national team that has won all across the state. You're the point guard. You haven't even played with these older guys. You know what I'm saying? And they're going up against Frank Mason the year, like his junior year, and his cousin. You remember when they lost to the 7-5-17?
By a point. Yeah, by a point.
Yeah, by a point. Yeah, that dude that should have laid it up and he tried to dunk because he was on ESPN. Yeah, like, I'm telling them, like, he was like, nah, it's varsity. And his first game at Fort Lee, they put him in there, and his first soon as he got the ball, turnover. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, but
But
yeah,
hey, I hear what y'all saying. I mean, hey,
it is what it is. I ain't beating a dead horse because at the end of the day, it's all about money.
yeah,
It's
it
like
really
all of it.
is, man. Like, regardless of anything, once you get people, like I said, if you want to watch real competition, high school. You know what I mean? And even they starting to mess that up a little bit. But once you start hitting college, it's about money.
Middle school.
And then once you hit these pros, I'm telling y'all, man, it's about storyline. It's about entertainment. It's about all these different things. Especially now, man. Next year gonna be crazy. Because they were talking today about they made some mistakes about the games that they picked. That's gonna be on Netflix and all of that. Next year gonna be crazy, B.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But yeah, so we'll get to our picks. So we got 3 college games this week that are ranked. I know I posted on the rankings, so I'm gonna reannounce the rankings. This is from the college football playoff rankings. So we got number 5 Indiana traveling to Ohio State. Who you got in this matchup?
I'm going Ohio State.
Yeah. I like my guy Cincinnati, but Google him. Like you said, you if you don't know him, Google him. But you gonna take that. You'll take your first L of the season, but it's gonna be all good, coach. I got Ohio State. I got number 14 BYU, who suffered that loss to Kansas last week. Facing Arizona State, who's 21st ranked in the college football playoff rankings. Who you got?
I got BYU.
All right. Again, you know what? In a weird way, give me the fight, Jane Daniels. Give me Arizona State.
Ooh, that's what I'm talking about.
We got number 19 Army versus number 6 Notre Dame. Who you got?
I'm going Notre Dame.
Yeah, they gonna destroy it. They gonna do what they did to the Navy. It's gonna get ugly. So we got a Thursday night game. 24 hours from it's 48 hours from now. I'm thinking today's Wednesday. I wish it was Wednesday probably. But we got the Steelers versus the Browns on Thursday Night Football, Amazon. What you got?
Oh man, I'm going Steelers.
All right. Yeah, I mean, yeah. And they're, a matter of fact, and the Steelers are number 3 in our Couch Coach Live Week 12 power rankings. And we got the on our Sunday night affair, we got the Eagles, who are ranked number 5th in our Couch Coach Live top 10 power rankings going into Week 12 as they face the Rams in LA. Who you got?
I'm going with the Rams.
Yeah, give me that Rams. I don't like that team from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Rams on a little run. So
Yeah, I hope so too. We need that because we trying to have a home game on MLK weekend, and that team Philadelphia in our way. So, all right. So we got a family affair on Monday Night Football. We got the number 6 ranked in our Couch Coach Live NFL Power Rankings, number 6 ranked Baltimore Ravens versus number 7 ranked LA Chargers. This is the Harbaugh Bowl. The two brothers are coming together on Thanksgiving week to start Thanksgiving week. Who you got?
I'm going Ravens because I feel like they're going to look at the tape and what they did with us and realize that they didn't give Henry the ball in the fourth quarter, and they only gave him the ball 13 times that game. So I got the weirdest feeling they're going to try to run him to death. So I'm going with the Ravens.
Yeah, man. You can't get beat by Chris Boswell yet again. Six field goals. Come on, Baltimore. Come on. People keep. Give me the Chargers, man. Give me the LA Chargers in this one. That's another team. Teams that have been beating us. I'm like, I ain't feeling the Baltimore Ravens. But we shall see. So give me the Ravens in this. Give me the Chargers in this matchup.
Right.
Even though it's no bearing, but yeah, we definitely we definitely rooted for the Rams this weekend on Sunday night. That's rocking a Rams jersey and all probably. Yeah, we need that because they in our way.
Right.
So rounding out tonight's Couch Coach Live, who gets this week's game ball?
Man, I'm giving it to I'm gonna give it to the Cavs, even though they just lost. I think 15-0 was real big for them, and they're playing real good team ball. You know what I mean? And Jason Tatum just ran Donovan Mitchell over after he just got ran over 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But I'm giving the game ball to them, man. They've been balling. They've been really, really balling.
So I got 2 game balls this week. I wanted a quick one. I've got to give it to Kyan Anthony. He commits to Syracuse. Kyan Anthony is the father of Carmelo. Is the son of Carmelo Anthony. So definitely following his father's footsteps. Gonna be kind of weird seeing him in a uniform at Syracuse. I might think I'm 19 years old again. So shout out to Kyan Anthony. And welcome to the Atlantic Coast Conference, the greatest basketball conference in the nation. Definitely looking forward to seeing you play in the greatest conference of all next season. And I got to give it to the National Football League. My goodness. Once again, they strike again. The NFL, as Snoop says, this MFA don't miss. The National Football League yet again. So they announced that Beyonce will be performing at halftime for the Ravens Texans game on Christmas Day. That's a Christmas Day matchup that will be on Netflix. It's funny that we talked about Doug Peterson being home for Christmas, but Beyonce literally will be home for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the NFL, once again, they got you with the Netflix. You got a doubleheader. You're going against the Chiefs at 1:00. I mean, we got a great Christmas Day slate now. You think about Kansas City and Pittsburgh playing, could be a battle for the number 1 seed potentially in the AFC, potentially in that matchup. And then now you got Baltimore and Houston in the rematch of last year's divisional round playoffs. Then you got Beyonce, so it's like you're appeasing both audiences. So if you're a man and you have a wife, parents, mother, any women in your life during Christmas, they're going to partake in this as well. So this is kind of one of the things that makes it exclusive. And I'm telling you, NFL is about to say, I feel so bad for the NBA because NBA used to be the staple on Christmas Day with their quintuple header with their 5 games on Christmas Day. This doubleheader supersedes what the NBA is doing, and they're going to do this every single year, and they're going to dominate. Hell, if they can pull off an NFL game on a Wednesday, NBA cancel your plans. So, man, oh man, if they can pull off on a Wednesday, they can pull off any day of the week at this point. NFL, they got it. Wow. But I hope they just get the Netflix stuff out the way.
Right.
Friday was kind of an S show in more ways than one. And I'm like, we gotta fix this.
I think that was on purpose. Everybody's complaining about the loading, right? And me, I'm always gonna look at it from a deeper standpoint. I'm like, they did what they accomplished to do. Everything that happened and everything that's wrong, they had stuff they probably didn't even think of. They're going to fix. They did what they were supposed to do. You had people watching that, man, that they never watched a boxing match. You know what I mean? Like never. And then, talking about it putting it on Facebook and Twitter, and they ain't never done. I'm talking about people that's never really watched boxing. Sat there for 3 hours. Very much so. And that's what most of the time when you're doing some type of business and you paying 50, 80, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of money to, because I think, just to fight, Paul got 40 million, Mike got 20 million. The door was like close to 40 million. Like, and that's just that. You ain't even talking about the other stuff. But the production looked really good. I felt like it was like a WrestleMania or a Super Bowl. It really did. The production of it was real good. It's just like I said, it did what Floyd and Manny Pacquiao did. They locked down the airport in Vegas. You know what I'm saying? The signals was messing up because it was multiple people, multiple people watching it. Like
and that's like you said, it's a precursor to potentially what happens with the NFL, and they're gonna draw that same amount. I mean, especially now adding that Beyonce angle to it as well, and it's gonna be here to stay. That Netflix and sports it's gonna take over. And rightfully so, but they those are my 2 game balls this week. So, final thoughts before we head on out.
Man, great show. Even the segment that we probably went a little too long for, but I think we put some insight to it. That I mean, seriously, I think we put some insight to it. A lot of people weren't talking about, and great show. I really didn't want to talk about it. Is why I'm saying it. I was talking about that. So I really don't want to talk about it, Dad.
Me neither. Me neither.
I said I really don't, but I'm happy we did, and I'm happy, it made me think a little bit to get out of the emotions about it. But yeah, great show. Great show.
I mean, yeah, and that's what makes for a show to have these type of these type of topics. Yeah, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
to me, it's like beating a dead horse, but it's a news story. So, like,
Right.
I wanted to discuss my displeasure of this work from home NBA player situation. In a sense.
And the Cam Newton one hit me though. The Cam Newton one is blatantly disrespect, because I cannot think about the Carolina Panthers without thinking about Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Like, that's blatantly disrespect. That's crazy, But anyway, great show.
Yeah, it was once again another great show, and it's it is what it is. That's what the show is all about, the conversation. So,
Right.
regardless of the topics, hey, a conversation was had, and hey, that's what that's what you got to do. So, social media, what you got? Upcoming things, what you got going on?
Sean Morgan, Facebook, DT Morgan 78, Instagram.
All right. Pretty much social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, under Couch Coach Live. I'm still debating if we're gonna do a blue sky, but if I do a blue sky, I'll probably announce it next week. That's the new Twitter in a sense. Not a lot of people are jumping on it, so I'm kind of weighing the options of that, because I'm kind of like, it's already kind of hard to post to all the social medias, so then add another one. It's like, ugh. But it is what it is. So, and then also the website, couchcoachlive.com. Yes, check out the website there. Just got a few articles, nothing much of there, just a couple of recaps of the previous VCU women's and men's games. Got that. We'll have some content up this week, obviously, as is VCU's on the road next week, so we'll have some content there. Some stuff for the women's, and then also University of Richmond football. We'll have some stuff this weekend about some articles posted there as well. So so this wraps up this week's Couch Coach Live, and we'll catch you guys next week. And we're out.
You're welcome.